We will be starting in approximately 1 minute and 40 seconds. Hi, and thank you for joining me on this Friday evening. My name is Wayne from Ascend Custom Designs. I am a small business owner and a part of the xTool Squad program. What is the xTool Squad, you might ask? Well, the xTool Squad is a global network of experienced makers, educators, and small business owners such as myself. We offer one-on-one demos of the xTool products that we own, and the demos are a mix of online and in person. It differs by host. Some hosts will offer both, some will offer one or the other. We also offer material testing and skill training. Material testing involves testing customer supplied samples under a number of different parameters to get you perfect results. Whereas skill training is essentially a one-on-one masterclass with an xTool Squad member. We will help you skip any learning curve with help from initial setup and maintenance to helping you perfect your projects. If you're interested in finding out more information about that, please check out the link below, and that is support.xtool.com/xtool-squad, and I'll show you how to navigate to there from the main xTool website. Alternatively, you can scan the QR code above my head, and that will take you directly to my xTool Squad profile. Right now, xTool are running a promotion. All product demos, in person or online, are absolutely free. So there's no cost to you. You don't have to give any payment information. If you're looking for a one-on-one demo, please check it out. So when you go to the website, you're able to find local hosts to a specific location. So if you're down in Birmingham, for example, which has happened to me, some people were down in Birmingham. They checked out what they need to check out in Birmingham, and then they come and visited me on the way back home. So I advise that where possible, see the machines in person. You'll get a better idea, but we also offer online demos if that's more preferable. And again, right now it's absolutely free. So the hosts, so whoever you select, will get paid by xTool, regardless if you buy or not. And just to be completely transparent, if you do buy a machine within a certain time frame, the host will get a small commission. And with that being said, we'll jump on to today's workshop. So this is just a rough skeleton of what we'll be going over. So I always go over the same things, and I do apologize if you're joining me again and you've seen my previous lives. I like to go through the technical specs for those that are new, physical look around, laser safety, and then we'll just jump into the software. I'll show you some of the advanced features that are specific to this model. Some are not. So the AI make is software specific, so it's not laser specific. What I mean by that is you download the xTool Studio software, and you can do that regardless of what laser you have. xTool laser, that is. but the auto material detection is something new for the M2. So for example, the F2 or the F2 Ultra UV does not have this auto material detection. So I'll go over that and then we'll jump into some projects. So some of the stuff you can do. If anyone has a specific material they want me to test on or want me to do a project on, please drop it in the comments. Alternatively, you can reach me on my contact information. You can reach me via my contact information below. I do apologize. So wayne@ascendcd.com. I'm also on WhatsApp and iMessage, so you can get me on +44 7846 110270. Alternatively, go to info.ascendcd.com. It will take you to a website that has all my social media handles. So if you prefer to use Instagram or Facebook Messenger, please reach out to me via them means. With that being said, we will jump over now to the actual technical information of the M2. And if anyone does have any questions, I am monitoring the chat and I will hopefully be able to give you the answers that you're looking for. So this is the xTool M2. So that's, you can see it just below. That's kind of what it looks like. I'll show you an actual physical look of it. So it comes with a few different modules. So it has a 10 watt and 20 watt diode laser that you can switch between. So you can either buy a 10 watt or the 20 watt, and you can alternatively start with the 10 watt and buy the 20 watt module after. And I'll show you how easy it is to just snap and switch between the different modules. There is also the 3 watt infrared module. So if you're looking to mark metal, this will be what you would need. And then it also has this CMYK inkjet module. So that stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and the K is black. And it's able to print. So not just engrave, it has physical ink in the module, and you're able to print. This machine is also a fully enclosed class 1 laser. And what that means in layman's terms is you cannot operate this machine with the safety enclosure open. For that reason, you don't need safety glasses when operating this machine. So it's fully safe. It's a very good first laser. It's an entry-level laser, and it comes with an entry-level price. That's quite amazing, actually, for all the features that it contains. It has dual cameras. So this is something that the high-end CO2 lasers have. So it has a 5 megapixel panoramic camera, and that is located on the lid. So you might see that little white mark in the middle. That is the camera, and that's the 5 megapixel camera. It also has a 2 megapixel close-up camera, which gives a better view, and it's more accurate than that panoramic camera, and that is located next to the module that you have. So if you have the 10 watt module, there's a place where you can slot that in, and to the right of it, that's where the camera is. It has auto material detection. So I'll show you this automatic mode, I'll show you manual mode, and then I'll show you automatic mode. It's quite advanced for the price point. It has a max speed of 600 millimeters a second, and it comes pre-assembled. So you don't have to set up anything, you just have to unbox it. And then in terms of the workspace, it has a maximum workspace, and I've got a little asterisk next to that, because the workspace will change depending on what module you have. So for example, the 10 watt and 20 watt diodes, you do have this maximum workspace of 42.6 centimeters by 32 centimeters. But when you install or switch to the infrared module or the ink module, that space will reduce because the modules are bigger and it eats into some of that working area. So that's why that asterisk is there. If you want to find out more information about this, you can scan the QR code. That will take you directly to xTool's website, and I'll show you that in just a second. Some of the things I just want to clarify is this machine does have air assist, and the air assist is built into the actual machine, so it's not a separate unit. So if you are familiar with xTool's lasers, if you got an S1 like me, you can get an external air pump, and yeah, this is all enclosed into that unit. So it does have air assist, and it's actually quite efficient. So we cut some wood, I think on Tuesday, and I showed you just how clean it's cut the wood. So the air assist does work, and it's very, very good. In terms of cylindrical objects, you can engrave cylindrical objects. Although this machine doesn't have a riser base, so there's no way to increase the height. With that being said, the maximum height you can work on is 26 millimeters. However, if you're doing tumblers, you can work on a tumbler with the RA3 Lite, the rotary device, up to 100 millimeters, so 10 centimeters in diameter. And the way that works is you can mount the laser in a different orientation. So it goes from vertical to horizontal. And it's very spectacular. So it's very genius, very xTool out the box thinking is how they've done it. And they've kept it low profile in terms of height. So although it doesn't have a riser base, they've done some out the box thinking of a way to not only reduce the price and reduce the footprint, but also have all the features that people are looking for. In terms of cutting ability, the 10-watt diode can cut 8 millimeters of basswood and 3 millimeters of acrylic in one pass. And the 20-watt diode can cut 10 millimeters of basswood and I think it's 8 millimeters of acrylic in a single pass. But we'll double check that now if I go onto xTool's website. So this is the M2, so the xTool M2. And if we scroll down, you can see just some of the things that you're able to do with it. So we jump down to the bottom. You can see all the tech specs here. So yeah, basswood, 10 watt is 8 millimeters, 20 watt is 10 millimeters, acrylic 3 millimeters in one pass for the 10, and 20 watt will do 8 millimeters. So yes, the working area. So this is what I was talking about. The 10 watt and 20 watt diode lasers, you get that full work area. But with the infrared and the inkjet module, it will be reduced slightly. So do bear that in mind. Now, another thing I want to mention while we're on this is the dot size of the lasers. So the laser will have a dot size. I have been asked questions about this. If you're doing a lot of engraving more than cutting, the 10-watt diode laser might be more preferable because each laser will have a dot size. So in this case, the 10-watt laser has a dot size of 0.04 millimeters by 0.06 millimeters. And the 20-watt has a larger dot size of 0.06 millimeters by 0.08 millimeters. So to kind of show you what that means in easy terms, this isn't the actual size of the dot of the laser, but it's in what they call it. It's all in line with each other. So they're all comparable to each other. This is approximately 300 times larger, give or take, but they're all in proportion. That's the word I was looking for. These dots are all in proportion to each other. So although they're not accurate in terms of actual size, they're all in proportion to each other. So you can see that the xTool M2 10-watt diode laser, it's oval shaped. So this is very typical of a diode laser. And the 20-watt is larger. So the reason I mention this is if you're doing engravings, that smaller dot size is preferable because you'll be able to get those little bit of extra detail in there. If you really are looking for a lot of detail, where you would want to go is an infrared laser or the UV laser. So I've showed off the quality of the UV laser and you can see it's very, very tiny. The UV laser and the infrared laser, the dot sizes are circle. So they're not oval, they're perfectly circle. So that's the difference. If you're looking to do a lot of engraving, the 10-watt. If you're doing more cutting than engraving, the 20-watt. And you can still engrave and get nice detail with the 20-watt, but if you're looking for very minute amounts of detail, you might want to look at the dot size of the laser that you'll get. And if you get stuck, please do reach out to me and I'll be able to help you further. So this is all the tech specs. And like I said, it's a class 1 laser. Very good. In terms of the software, if you go up to here, you're able to go to software and xTool Studio. This will take you to this website here. This is the xTool Studio website. So what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste that into the links. So if you want to download the software, go there. It knows what I'm running. So I'm running Apple Silicon. This does work for the new Apple Mac or the MacBook Neo. So that doesn't have an M series, but it does have an A series iPhone chip in it. And this will work with the MacBook Neo. It does work with Windows 10 and Windows 11. And it also works with old style Intel Macs. I'm not sure how long that will be supported, as Apple is no longer updating the operating system for Intel based Macs. So do bear that in mind when you are getting a laser. If you have an older PC, it might need upgrading, but for the moment, it will work on pretty much any PC as long as it meets the minimum requirements. And you can find the minimum requirements here. And then in terms of a product demo, you can go up to the top, local service, product demo. That will take you here. And you're able to find an in-person demo. So if we just refresh this, it wants me to log in. So you could choose in person, and I could say Luton Way. And you could easily click. So I could go, okay, Damien's got a P3, click on that. And there we go, feedback 5.0. Click on it. You see a picture of the host, you see a picture of the machines, see where they're located. You can see the schedule that they have, that the hours that they can take bookings. And you can see a brief information on the user. And as you can see here, the product demo, absolutely free. Materials test and skill training, that is a paid for service. And that money goes towards the host's time. So at the moment, xTool is subsidizing or paying the host completely for their time. Because of this, you're able to get an honest demo. So regardless, it doesn't matter if you buy or not, the host will get paid for their time. That being said, like I said earlier, if you do buy a machine within a set time period, the host will make a small commission. So that is how you book a one-on-one demo. What I'll do now is I'll play you a short video. It's about 6 minutes, and this will be a physical look around. I've got my camera that got some close-up video of the actual machine. If anyone has any questions while that is running, please drop them in the comments and I will read through them now. This is a physical look of the xTool M2. On the front, you have an LED indicator along with a button. When you send the job, this indicator will change and you simply press this button to start it. In terms of turning it on and off, there is a power button on the back, and this is the actual hose pipe that comes with the machine. So it's approximately 1.2 meters. I have this venting outside. You can either vent it to the air purifier or the AP2. If you do buy the air purifier, you will need the adapter. So when you select the air purifier, do select the version for the M2. It's the same machine. It just comes with an adapter, and the adapter looks something similar to this, and it simply allows you to connect the 8 centimeter hose to the 7 centimeter back of the air purifier. In terms of the camera that we talked about, on the lid, if you follow this white line up, this is the 5 megapixel camera. If I close this lid as I'm talking, you might hear it beep. If I do it again, what it's doing is it's taking a picture of the bed every time you close the lid. If anyone knows about cameras in machines, this is very handy. You have to press the button manually usually to update the picture. This is a nice automatic way of taking an update of the bed. The 2 megapixel camera is located next to where the modules lie. So this here is where the 2 megapixel close-up camera comes into play. So if I leave this lid open, right now I have the print module installed. If I show you just how easy that is to change, you simply hold it and pull on this USB-C cable that is in the side, and it just pulls off. On the back, you have these two metal prongs. They fit nicely in here, and the magnets pull it directly into place. So if I switch between that and the 10-watt laser diode module, and again, you have this USB-C connectivity on the back, simply one hand snaps in, and I can just hold it and snap it in. It's literally that simple. So switching between the modules is very effortless. It does come with 4 of these magnets. So instead of the honeycomb bed, you just have this bed here. That's to reduce the footprint of the machine as well as the cost. So you can use these little devices here, this little magnet, to switch and turn and hold material. You can raise material off the bed. Actually quite genius. I will show you these close up on the desk camera. What I'll do now is I will switch over to the iPhone and I'll show you a close-up view of the actual bed as well as the camera that's located in it. This is a close-up using the iPhone. So again, this is what I talked about, the magnets that come with it. So again, I'll show you this under the desk camera so you can have a better look. But it's very good for gripping material. You can twist and turn it, snap it into place. One of the things I will note is in the corner here, when you fit this, this is specifically for the print module. And that is because the print module has a cover on the side or the bottom. I don't know how well you can see that, but the laser will lock into that and pull it up. So it pulls it off. This cover here on the bottom stops the ink from drying up. This is a close-up of the connectivity, and I'll just do this with one hand. So again, to switch modules, you simply take out the USB-C cable. And again, I'm doing this with one hand, and you just pull it off. In terms of what the back looks like, you got them 2 metal prongs, and the 2 metal prongs fit nicely into the back there. And I don't know if you can hear it, it just literally snaps into place. And again, I'm doing this one-handed. You just put this USB-C cable into here, and there you go. It's much easier with 2 hands. So that's on now. And if I just show you underneath, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. I can't focus it, unfortunately, but that's where the 2 megapixel close-up camera is. So if I just hover over it, you can see it just here. There's the camera sign. And on the actual lid is that 5 megapixel camera. If you should hopefully hear a beep. There we go. And it's done. So it's took a picture. This is the magnets that come with the xTool M2. So you get 4 of these. This is the underside. That is what it looks like from the side. And that is what it looks like when you pull it out. So these simply pull out, and you can twist and snap them. And again, if I show you from this angle, they pull out and twist and snap, and they just pull down. So these are very good for gripping material. I've gripped wood and I'm able to raise it off the bed. So when you're cutting, you want it raised up slightly so air can get underneath it, so you get a smoother finish, a smoother cut with minimal charring. This is actually a novel way of being able to do that without using a honeycomb. If anyone has any questions about that, please do let me know. So I hope that made some sense. If anyone has any questions about that, I will show you the machine again. So that was just a pre-recorded video that I put together a couple of days ago to highlight most of the information. Sometimes when I'm doing lives, some information slips in my mind. So I hope that was informative. What I'll go over now is just some quick laser safety, and then we will crack on. So never leave the laser unattended. Flat stable surface. Please don't modify the machine. So this is a class 1 laser. It's designed the way it is for your protection. You do not want it leaking light, which is why it's fully enclosed to protect your eyes. Vent it outside or vent it to either an air purifier. So there's two options of air purifier, and I'll show you them. The smaller air purifier, the air purifier is what it's called. It's a smaller footprint than the AP2, but it works with both. The AP2 has more filters in it, has more power, airflow, so it's able to get rid of all that smoke quicker, but it comes at a higher price point. So I think the AP2 is about £1,000 and the air purifier is about £269, I believe. So I'll jump onto xTool's website after and I'll show you these accessories that you can get. In terms of stuff you shouldn't engrave, you should never engrave anything that contains PVC. So common ones is obviously PVC, but vinyl contains PVC. Some fake levers might contain PVC. PVC is very dangerous to your lungs. When it's engraved, it releases like a gas. And that same gas will not only hurt you, it will damage your laser. So please don't do it. In terms of safety glasses, because this is fully enclosed laser, I don't need to wear safety glasses when I'm operating it. So if this is your first laser and safety is your main priority and you're worried, you've got kids, this is a very good first laser. Not just because of that, but because of all the other features too, which we'll go over. So the camera. So what we'll do now is we will jump over to the xTool Creative Studio. So I shouldn't say Creative Studio, they dropped that name, so it's just called xTool Studio. And it's version 1.7.3 or 1.7 for short. So we'll jump into the software. It's free to download like I showed you earlier. And there we go. So this is xTool Studio. From here, there's a couple things I want to note before we get started. There is an academy, so there is a place to get official resources. They do have a website, so you don't have to just look at it through this software. There is a page on xTool's website that has this same layout, and you can find the product and get getting started. It's very much course driven, very simple, very straightforward YouTube style videos. I would advise checking out under general. You got this laser safety training. It takes 20 minutes. You get a nice certificate at the end of it, and that certificate does come in valuable. I've been asked for a risk assessment when I've taken my laser to an exhibition. This forms a part of that. So this does come in handy. Not only is it knowledge that will help keep you and others safe, this does come in handy when using it for business. So this isn't just something to be looked down upon. What I would also say is check out some of these videos. So xTool's teamed up with creators. So Paul is a very standout guy. He's created a little course in collaboration with xTool, and you can go through that course. So it's 5 parts, very easy to follow. You can check out his videos on YouTube and follow him on social media. Very, very nice guys. I highly recommend you check that out. And again, you can do this today before you've bought a laser, and you can just see if it's for you. And I highly recommend you test out the software. On that note, I will show you a feature in here. So if you download this today and want to test it out and go, well, I don't have a laser to connect it to, I'll show you something. So in the software here, if you just click this new project button or the plus sign at the top, automatically will connect to the last laser that it's on. So in this case, it was my M2. But if you don't have a laser, it will say connect a laser, and you've got this little switch device, connect device icon. You can just hit device library, and I can go, although I don't own a P3, what does it look like? What features does it have? So I can click on this, the left-hand menu. So this menu here will all stay the same. The things that usually change are stuff over here. So for example, here I can refresh the background. It's got a camera. I can do a close-up shot with the P3. I can do close-up stitching with the P3. And it also has this precise measure. So now if I switch this and I go, okay, I'll switch to device library, I'll switch to the S1. You'll notice the S1 doesn't have a camera icon because it has no camera. In terms of marking, you can mark the processing area. It does have a way that you can mark your area. So although it doesn't have a camera, it has a way that you can map the material. And then you've got this thing here, the auto measure. So again, there's ways to do things. It's slightly different. So if you're looking to upgrade your laser eventually, so use this for business, start at an affordable laser, affordable price point, and then gradually build your business. xTool is the way to go because it's so seamless to switch between the different lasers. So if I switch over to the M2, it automatically takes a picture. And with that being said, if I just quickly jump back to Safari, and I'll show you the air purifier that you can get. So I might still have it here in the basket. So that's the infrared module. If you're looking to buy the infrared module, it's £500, give or take. And in terms of the air purifier, the AP2 will work with the M2, but also the cheaper air purifier that I don't seem to have in the basket. So the cheaper air purifier is, there we go, desktop air purifier. That's £269. If you do go down this route, which most will because it's cheaper, do make sure to select the correct version. So purifier for M2. So this purifier has a smaller hose. It has a 70 mil or 7 centimeter hose. What you would need is something like this to connect it. So it connects a 8 centimeter hose and turns it into a 7 centimeter. So if you select the M2 version, you will get sent an adapter. So it's exactly the same air purifier. You'll just have an additional accessory. Highly recommend you select that. So if you're looking to vent indoors, air purifier or the AP2. So it really depends on what you're doing. If you're looking at getting a bigger machine eventually, maybe you do get the AP2 with using another machine in mind. So the AP2 is what you would need if you're venting the S1, P2, P2S, P3, needs the AP2 Max, I believe it's called. So do bear that in mind. If we switch back over, so what you have here is the bed, and what we'll work on today is I'll show you the manual mode, but it also has this enable auto mode. So if we do things manually to begin with, then I'll show you how easy and nice it is to have this automatic mode. So I'm going to put this into the bed over there, and you'll see one of the features that I absolutely love straight off the bat of this machine. So I open up the lid, I place the material on the workbed, and it's made a beep sound. And straight away on the software, you can see it's updated. It's took a picture. So again, if I do that, and I just flip it over on the other side that I've already engraved, you can hear it beep, and that picture will update. So this is a feature I absolutely love. I wish this was on the F2 and the F2 Ultras. One of my rookie mistakes with the camera is I will change the orientation. So let's just say I put that in a different machine. It has a camera, take a picture. I've engraved the one side, I flip it over. I forget to update the picture, and then when I go to engrave it, it doesn't engrave where I think it's going to engrave. So this is a very nice feature, very handy. So what we're doing now is we'll take a measurement, and to do that, you just go over to here, and this is an aimed measure. So this measurement may have a certain degree of error. So what that's saying in layman's terms is when I do this aimed measure, it will move around. It will go over the material where I just pointed, and it will physically measure. It's got a little tip on it that presses in. So it's come up with a measurement of 5.96. Now, if I do this again, the likelihood is there's going to be some variation. So this is an approximate, it's not an exact measurement. So you can see it's actually more now. Because of the dot size of the diode laser, I've not had any problems. If this was an infrared laser, it would have to be more accurate, but this is absolutely fine. It works fine. So just do bear that in mind. This is one of the cost-saving measures, but it's accurate. It's still accurate. It's still accurate enough where it doesn't cause any problems. So now that we've done that, we're most of the way there. Now we have to figure out what type of wood it is. What settings do we need to use? So for example, if I wanted to engrave an element on there, so if I go to elements, shapes, what are we looking for? We'll engrave this, and what I'll do is I'll just change the color of this to red. So this color is just a representation. So if I just show you the screen, down here you can change the color. So you select it and you can just hover over here and change the color, or alternatively, you can just right click and change the color. And the layers are just for your use. So they're not something, it won't engrave a different color by just changing it to a different layer. So do bear that in mind. It's just for organization that you have these layers. So when I click on it, you can see straight away it's 1% power, 80 speed, 100 lines per centimeter. That's the default. So if I hide my face, you can see it here properly. So what you want to do is select the material. So I go, do you know what? It's wood. What type of wood is it? And I could go, do you know what? It's beech wood, or maybe it's walnut wood. And if you're not sure what it is, you can do this AI material recognition. This is a feature that is for the M2. I'll capture a picture and you can see that move around. You can see up here, capture succeeded. It'll drop it in here or here even. There we go, you can see it. And I can enter in some information here. Generally speaking, you should know the material that you're engraving. For safety reasons, like I said before, with the leather, you need to know how it's tanned. It's just very important to always be safe. So here it says brown walnut hardwood keychain. So bear in mind, I've not entered any information. I just took a picture using the camera that's inbuilt into the machine. So straight away, 60% power for scoring, 120 speed, 1 pass. For engraving, 40% power, 180, 1 pass, 160. For cutting, doesn't recommend. Bitmap engrave, it comes up with some information. I don't know how this works. It's pretty cool. So we'll apply that and save. And what I'll do is I'll shrink this down, but we're still missing one thing. So it's taking a picture, but we can take a closer picture using the close-up camera. And this is more accurate. So if I just get it like that, maybe, there we go. If I zoom in, you can see that that line there, it thinks it's there on the panoramic picture, but then it jumps over here on the close-up. So the close-up camera, although it's only 2 megapixels, because it's so close to the bed and it hovers over it, the accuracy is pretty amazing, I'll be honest. And again, for this price point, like the base model is 500 and something pound. The base model is, what is the base model's price? I think it's like 599 pound. So it might be less, there might be a discount, 549. So if you buy it this week, next week, I think the sale ends the 30th. Right now, they got it for sale for £50 off. So at this price point, it's actually amazing. This is xTool's cheapest laser to date. and it's literally cram-packed full of all these advanced features. So it's definitely worth checking out. So if we jump back over to it, and what I'm going to do is place it here. I'm going to just drag and drop it and move it up and down. Go, okay, I want it just there. And that's it. I'm comfortable that that is going to engrave where it's supposed to engrave. And then what we'll do is we'll just double check the settings. So engrave, it's saying 40% power, 180 speed, 160 lines per centimeter. And if I hide my face, you just hit this process button. So that will send the job. It will show you a preview of the job. So what you see on the screen is what will engrave. If you see something that shouldn't be there, so if I go back and let's just say I add my name up here. There we go. So I've added my name up there. If I hit this process button, if you see something on the workbed, something on this bit here that shouldn't be there, it will engrave it. You need to go back and you either need to delete it, or you could say turn off the output. And what that does is it tells the laser to ignore it. And now you see this. So what you see on this screen is literally what will engrave. I'm going to hit start. That's going to send the job to the machine. I full screen that. Now all you need to do is hit this button on the front to start it. The color has changed to green. I hit that, and now you're ready to rock and roll. And if I show you the machine, so if I just press this little button here, enable monitoring, you can see a live preview or a live video feed of what's happening inside the bed. So I'll enable the cameras. So you can see the external feed from my external camera in the bottom left, and you can see the actual camera here. So it's actually quite amazing. And that is going to take 1 minute and 30 seconds more. So it's going to take in total 2 minutes and 27 seconds. So I'm just going to pop over to the machine and have a look in. Again, because it's fully enclosed, I don't have to wear safety glasses. So I can just wear my normal glasses. So I can have a look, and actually, if anything, it's probably too dark. Usually I like a dark engrave. When this is finished, I'll be able to get a better look, as this is orange in color. It does look slightly different as you're looking at it through the enclosure. But if I look at it on the video feed that's from inside the device, it's actually looking very, very nice. And this is very handy. This is a surprise for me, for xTool to offer these advanced features at such an affordable price point. So if you're looking to get a laser for the first time, depending on what you're trying to achieve, this is a very, very good laser. Very, very affordable laser. It's not that much more expensive than a pre-cut machine. And that's it, it's all done. So what I'll do now is I'm going to just pop over there. I will open up the machine, and I've just taken it out. So you can see it here, and what I'll do is I'll just switch to the desk camera just here. You can see that's actually really nice, and we just used the AI material recognition to generate the setting for this. So you can see the difference. This was done on a different laser. This was done on the M2, and I actually like this. This is more noticeable than this. So I'll let you decide. This was done eyeballing, guessing the settings on a different laser. This was done with the xTool M2 using the auto material recognition, and it come up with the parameters for this. And you can see, so if I hold this here, what I'll do is if I hit finish on the laser engraver, what I'm going to do is zoom in on this and switch over to the cameras. I'm going to zoom in. What do you think? How close? There we go. See how close it is to either side versus how it looks on the screen. It's pretty accurate, and that's that camera. That's that close-up 2 megapixel camera. You're able to get it exactly where you want it. And again, for that price point, I was very, very surprised. Now, what we'll do is I'm going to enable this auto mode. So you've seen how I went through and did a few steps. So I measured the thickness of the material using the aimed measure is what it's called. What I'll do now is I'm going to put something else in the bed. I'm going to put a bamboo tag in the bed. So just a simple bamboo key tag. And I'll let you see exactly what happens. So up here, enable auto mode. Automation is ready. Close the lid to start. So I have it enabled. Put this in the bed. And it's going to make a beep. There we go. And bear in mind, I'm not doing anything. So what didn't help in this regard is I've got this red dot over there. So if I just, or red heart, so if I just delete that and delete that for the time being, again, I'm going to go over. I'm going to place it in a slightly different location so you can see again. Makes that beeping sound, and this is with the automation. So again, my hands are here. It's automatically identified the material. It's measured it. And that's it. It's that simple. So again, some options have disappeared because of this automation. What I'll do here is from the material list, I'm going to go to wood, and I'm just going to find some bamboo. So bamboo. So it's already got this bamboo that I've done previously, natural bamboo tag, yellow. So there is some variations in color with this bamboo, so that's why it's identified it as 2 different materials. There's the bamboo tags that I got vary in color. Because bamboo is a natural material, you will get variation. So when you are working with organic material, natural material, slate, you will get pyrite in slate, so that's fool's gold. When you engrave that, you hit it, it won't engrave white, it goes black. Not all slate coasters are the same, it's just part of the charm. So wooden slices, again, you might be able to get relatively the same thickness, but there will be variations in how thick the wooden slices are, how wide the diameter is. They might not be perfectly circular. And then there's also the differences in moisture levels. So because it's an organic material, you will have differences and they will engrave slightly differently. It's a nature of doing business with organic material. So I'm just going to select the natural tag and hit apply. And it's applied the settings for that. So now if I do the same thing again, if I go over to this element on the side, and I'm going to scroll down and just click on the same hearts that we just engraved. Go down, down, and this is slightly wonky, and then I can just change it. So I can go, do you know what? 1.5. And that's it. It's literally that simple. And again, if you're worried, you go, oh, I don't know if that's going to engrave where it's supposed to engrave. I'll get another close-up picture and see if it changes. It's not changed. I'm happy with that. And again, you can see here just how accurate that close-up camera is compared to the panoramic. Panoramic camera is nice to get a general feel of where things are in the bed. And this close-up camera allows you to get that level of detail, of accuracy, where I don't need to use this framing feature. So on a gantry-based laser, it's very slow and it will mark out the area and just keep moving around where it's going to engrave. And it's very difficult to get an idea, get a feel of exactly where it's going to engrave. If you have a galvo laser, because it's so fast, you will get a solid outline. So I've done this numerous times and demoed the framing features of the galvo lasers that xTool have. It's fantastic, but this camera, I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy that it's going to engrave exactly where it says. So now that we have that, I'll just move this down roughly in the middle. I'm happy with that. In terms of the settings, engrave 55% power. And I should also note, it will adjust this if you have a 20 watt. So this is only 10 watt laser, and I can see that it's a 10 watt laser. If I look up here, Ascend M2 10 watt. If I was to put the 20 watt module in there, it will change that to 20 watt. So if I did the AI material recognition, it will take the diode laser's wattage into account and adjust the settings accordingly. So you won't get the same settings. You won't get 55% power if it was a 20 watt. You would look more like, what is it, 26, 27.5% power, something like that, or maybe it'd be less, but it will adapt the settings accordingly based on the laser that you're using. So if I hit the process button, so again, if I hide my face, we've got this process button here. And something I do want to note, I have been asked questions about this, engraving mode. So some of these advanced features, I typically don't mention it. When engraving, you can change the way that it engraves. So right now, bi-directional, it will engrave left and right. So as it moves across, it will engrave back. It will engrave in both directions, left and right. So when you're painting, think of it as going back and forth like that. You can, however, change it so it's unidirectional, and it will only engrave one way. So it will only engrave left, or it will only engrave right. So it will only engrave one way. Typically, it's left to right. There are reasons why you'd want to do it. I won't go over them today, but needless to say, bi-directional, it halves the time, which makes sense because it's completing 2 passes, whereas the unidirectional is only doing 1 pass, so it takes twice the time. In terms of the other settings, you do have some advanced settings. I won't really get into these, but there is some advanced settings that you can do. And you can also change the way that the order that it engraves things in. So if you, instead of clicking process, you hit the 3 dots. Auto planning is the way that you want to go more often than not. But again, there are reasons why you want to do user defined, and you do have a lot of options. So you can do it layer by layer. So at the moment, we only have one layer, the blue layer. you could have blue layer, a red layer, different items, and you want to engrave things in a very specific order. You do have that ability. But again, more often than not, auto planning is exactly the way that you want, and that will give you the best time typically. So I hope that helps. So now if I just hit process, I'm going to hit start. And again, when I hit start, the color will change on the LED display next to the power button. So right now it's like a light blue / white. I don't know if you can see that. So if I maybe zoom in a little bit with my camera. So if I zoom in there. So if we hit this start button now, that light will change green. It's very subtle on the cameras, but hopefully you can see that. And what I'll do now is I'll hit this button and that will start it. I will also enable this monitoring mode here so you can see what is going on in the bed. I'll just zoom in a little bit in the camera just so you can see real time. And again, the camera that you're seeing from within the software, that is in the M2. You'll be able to do that with your machine if you buy one. The camera feed that you're seeing in the bottom left, that is an external camera feed. So right now we're got about 40 seconds left and the estimated time is 1 minute 31 and it's very accurate. And again, if anyone has any questions about what I'm doing, please do let me know. Any tips for the F1 Ultra? It depends on what you're looking to do. What material are you looking to engrave, Michelle? So one of the first things I say when with the Ultras, if you're engraving a lot of the same material, a jig will help speed you up. So a jig is something that you can 3D print typically, and it will screw very nicely into the base of any of the Ultras. And you can repeatedly do the same job without having to frame or use the camera for alignment. So for example, I could create a jig quite easily for dog tags. When you 3D print it, it will have a recess that will drop in. You only have to create the template in xTool Studio once, and you can literally just drop it in and you won't have, it takes all the guesswork out of it. So if you're looking to do bulk stuff, I recommend looking at jigs. See, yep, smart. I like that. So this is done. And if I switch over to the desk, you can see just how nice that's turned out. And that was using the AI generated parameters. If I show you another one, they do look slightly different. Might not show so much up on the camera, but that's definitely like a yellowy color. This is more of a tan, a light brown. So you will get variations in product. That's just natural with organic materials. And if I switch back to xTool Studio, I will briefly talk about AI Make since we have just a few minutes left. So AI Make is down on the left-hand side. So if you click AI Make, if I just show you the screen, this is paid for in the sense of you do get some free generations every month. You get 3 free generations a month, and you might start off with some credits. but you will have to buy credits in order to continually use this AI make. And it's very, very cheap. 500 credits for $5, 1,000 credits for $10, 2,000 credits for $20. So it works out very cheap. If I wanted to engrave something on a bamboo tag, say, I might want to engrave my dog. So if I go over and show you a picture of my dog, I could go, do you know what? I want to engrave this picture of my dog. Not engraved nicely on wood, and on most things that I want to engrave on, it won't engrave nice. So we need to do some manipulation, and xTool have made it excellent. They've made it super easy. If I go over to engraving, I go a line drawing, I can just drag and drop that same picture into the software. So you'll see it loading just here. It's loaded that image. The style, so you got different styles of line drawing. And I could say my go-to is typically fine art, but in this case, we'll try something different. We'll try kids drawing. I don't know how this will turn out. And if I hit the generate button, so I'm not going to change the aspect ratio or anything like that. So we'll just let that generate. So if I just show you the screen again, you can see here what it's mentioning. And what I might do is engrave on the other side of the bamboo tag. So you can see here that it's come up with a line drawing. So if I click on the on this, it will import it. So you can see just how easy. So I'm just going to delete that out of the way and just show you again. I'll leave this on the screen. I'll just zoom out. What I'm going to do is put the bamboo tag that we just put in there. I'll flip it over on the opposite side. I'm just going to let it do its thing. And what we'll do is we'll engrave this image now on that tag, and we'll see how it looks. So first thing I want to do is get rid of the white space. There's two ways of doing it. There's the automatic way or the manual way. Because this is a simple image, the manual way will work. If it's a very complex image, to get rid of the background, I would advise that use the AI function. I'm just going to crop out this additional space. And there we go. Very, very simple, very straightforward. Zoom in, and I'm just going to shrink it down. And we'll see how this goes. And then in terms of the power, maybe I will increase the power just a little bit. I go 55% power. So on Jarvis, you got different bitmap modes. I won't go into the differences of them today. If anyone does have any questions, please do reach out. So I'll hit this process button. 1 minute 36. I'm going to hit start. And what I'll do now is just start it. So it's, as you can see, it's very simple, very straightforward. When I have people do in-person demos, honestly, I have them up and running within 10 minutes. So we'll enable that monitoring so you can see the real-time feed. And again, I'm not sure how well this will engrave as the details have got really small. And again, when I mentioned the dot size, this is where the dot size will come into play. So you have more chance of capturing the details of this image, the tiny details of this image with the 10 watt than with the 20 watt. And if you're constantly engraving images with minute amounts of detail, realistically, you should look at getting a laser that can engrave at that level. So realistically, you're looking at infrared, depending on what you're engraving on. or even the UV laser. And they're at different price points. So I understand people have a budget. My advice would always be buy the laser that would do most of what you're looking for, make money, start making money, and then put some of that money into investing in a better machine. So we got 18 seconds left, and once we're done with this, I'll be done. So again, I got no idea how this is going to turn out. But looks of it, it's very light. Yep, so it's extremely light. So the settings in this case were not ideal. So if I go over, I don't know why you can see it. But it has engraved, it's just very, very light. So we'll probably continue this tomorrow. I'm back online tomorrow at the same time, so 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And again, if anyone has any questions, please do drop them in the comments. Thank you for asking questions, Michelle. You can reach out to me on email, so wayne@ascendcd.com, or you can reach out to me via WhatsApp, iMessage, or classic phone call, and that's at +44 7846 110270. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you again